All right, and welcome back to the BSI Comics Vodcast. This is Mr. Zak Knutson.
Hello.
Uh, all right, now
We're in a comic book shop, if you couldn't tell.
as we've mentioned many times that we are a working comic book shop. This isn't like Kevin Smith. We'll get to that in a second, where they can just have a store where they just film all day. So, there's stuff going on. We have customers, which is a good thing.
They got lots of good stuff here. Real good stuff.
Fletch would normally be on the show, but he's actually helping those customers now. So, Mr. Zak Knutson, you are the director of a movie that's in town.
Yes, I am. Supercon.
And so you're the director, co-writer.
Yep, I wrote it with Andy Sipes and Dana Snyder, both of
Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Aqua Teen Hunger Force fame. Well, Andy wrote on Code Monkeys. Dana is the voice of Master Shake on Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and he's also the voice of the Penguin and the new Plastic Man and all that kind of good stuff.
That's pretty awesome.
They're funny guys.
And obviously our audience is going to know a lot of that stuff.
Yes.
I don't know what Code Monkeys
If you should, go out and do it. It's an old show. Andy, check it out, Code Monkeys. It's a 8-bit video game cartoon show. You're all set.
So, first of all...
I just sold Code Monkeys to people, and it's a show that hasn't been on for like 5 years. You're welcome.
But we have like Netflix and stealing things on the internet. Not that we should be bringing that up, but you know.
Do it. Steal it. They don't mind. It's gone. Steal it.
Quote you on that on Entertainment Tonight. So they don't watch that shit. Anyway, so first of all, thank you for coming to New Orleans and bringing Supercon to us.
No, thank you for having us. It's been great.
No, I'm not going to let you thank us because now for our audience.
No, I have to because without you guys, the whole thing. By the way, we have a comic book convention in the movie, and without you guys and doing the podcast before for Metal Hand to God, we would not have had the vendors. We would not have had the local artists. We would not have had any of that stuff, and that's super important for the legitimacy and making it look real, and the con looks fabulous in the movie. It doesn't look like doesn't look bad. I guess I can't swear.
It does. It looks okay. If the kind of convention that you put up and your set designers created actually happened in New Orleans, New Orleans would have much better comic book conventions.
It's spectacular. Freddie Woff, our production designer,
Super
who's
cool
done
guy.
a bunch of movies, and he worked with David Fincher for a bunch of years. He did this place, and it looks amazing. It's a convention I would want to go to, which is exactly what we wanted to create.
Like I said, we're working comics.
Big Bang Comics, come on down. DC, Marvel, Image, Independence, come on down.
No, but I do have to thank you because for our audience, I don't think we've ever talked about it just yet because you're a movie in production, so there's only so many things that the public's allowed to know.
We can talk about way more now than we could have before.
Right on.
So I can talk about a bunch of stuff.
But you had you invited a lot of our local artists, guys that actually have comics on the stand here at BSI.
Yep.
And creators. Metal Hand of God had a booth for which we and
as you should.
My co-host says
Him,
thank you.
The head right there.
And y'all were just I keep using this word, but just exceedingly kind to us. I kept trying to explain to the guys like. You're a little. You probably should have taken the belt to a couple of them because they misbehaved a little bit. Some of them.
Hey,
maybe
cops didn't see it. You didn't do it, so I don't know what was wrong. I don't. La 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 la. Mom and dad are fighting. I don't know.
But they had
the movie came out great.
They had a once in a lifetime opportunity. I wish I could. I actually am not in the movie. My face is. Fletch actually did a print that has my face that theoretically should be in the movie at some point.
It definitely is.
It definitely is.
Good.
So, but you've been so kind to us, and we appreciate. I mean, there's been a little bit. New Orleans has had some setbacks in terms of filming out here.
Yep.
Some productions have had to leave. So, I did want to ask that. What made you decide to come to New Orleans to film?
Let's see. To be honest with you, we got underneath the tax credits while we still could.
Okay.
We got set up, and that's really the reason why kind of New Orleans was set. We had talked about New Mexico. We had talked about Georgia. We had talked about California. But New Orleans is where we could get the most bang for our buck. And it worked out super well. And we're lucky because we got a lot of great crew was still here. Our camera department, our gaffer, like all these guys were just spectacular. Our art department, obviously, because they're the ones that made the comic book convention. they're awesome. Like, all these guys went above and beyond the Call of Duty, and we're very lucky to have found them and have them here in New Orleans, and it was awesome.
Right on. So, to discuss it a little bit now, the concept of Supercon, it's a little bit of Ocean's 11, but at a comic book convention, and it's actually based on I guess you can't call it an old urban legend, but a comic book urban legend.
Yeah, I had heard a guy by the name of Ken Plume, who's a friend of ours, told me this story about how at Dragon Con one year, the rumor was that a couple people dressed as stormtroopers went into the office during the big cosplay parade that takes over all of downtown Atlanta. They ripped off the convention, and how they escaped was when the 501st was walking down, they slipped out and went in with them. And Dane and I were on a plane actually back from Supercon in Florida. So we ripped off the name from Mike Broder, but he knows. He's all into it. Broder loves the idea of this whole thing. We actually base a character on Broder. Mike Broder's in the movie. He's been nothing but helpful. But we based on that because we know Broder so well. But we started talking about it, and we were originally going to do it with Stormtroopers, but then Disney bought Lucasfilm. And we were like, no way, because I've done a little work with Lucasfilm, and those guys were great to us, and they're all still there.
But they're very expensive.
But we just knew that Disney was like, wait, you're going to have our characters stealing things? No, not going to happen. So we said, all right, well, let's play around with the idea a little more. Let's go a little bigger. Let's kind of do our own thing.
Now, at some point, their characters did kill babies in a movie, but,
Yeah, well, it's all for Lucasfilm. All for Lucasfilm.
But, no, really cool concept for a movie, and you made a joke about stealing, but
it's a heist movie. It's a heist movie, and our characters actively steal stuff. So, yes.
But I figured I'd bring up, so you were accused of theft of an intellectual property by a notorious ne'er-do-well over at Bleeding Cool.
You said notorious ne'er-do-well. I don't know anything about the guy, do you?
Yeah, so We're
starting up I know I'm going to regret even asking this question because it's going to just come back on me tenfold.
Well, Rich Johnson can kiss our ass. It's
fine.
Go. He enjoys this kind of stuff. He's
got to. He's poking. He's
sort of like first of all, Bleeding Cool is the biggest comic website in the world, largely because he deals in gossip. Some of it turns out to be true, some of them doesn't. He has his place in the industry, but sometimes he's just one of those people who likes to stir stuff up to get hits. And so...
Worked.
Yeah,
I don't know how my name was not pull any numbers for you at all. None. Zero.
So, apparently I work in a comic book store, but there's a lot of comics that come out. Jimmy Palmiotti, beloved comic creator.
Very much.
He apparently did a comic called I think it was like The Big Con.
The Big Con Job.
There you go.
Yeah.
And if you really loosely define Supercon, you really loosely define The Big Con Job, they're technically similar. The comic, I understand, came out about a little under 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Which
something like that. I think it was a year ago.
Now it's going to sound like I'm carrying water for you, but let's
Don't
be real.
Quote me on that internet.
For an independent film like yours,
yes,
it's very hard to get that together within 2 years. Certainly, in going into production.
No, this has been a long, ongoing. And just for the record, I know after they did the original post, and then the producers were kind of freaking out, going, "They're saying this, they're saying that, they're saying." I was like, "Guys, we just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Nobody knows anything about the movie except one of the producers put out a really poorly written press release." And I was like, that was poorly. I said, tell you what, this is the one time I'll go on there and I'll just write this thing and you'll see how it kind of goes out there. And I'll just kind of tell the truth and throw it out there. So I said, look, this is the deal. We did not steal anything from Jimmy Palmiotti. I met Jimmy Palmiotti. I've talked to Jimmy. I did a documentary on the making of Chasing Amy that's on the Blu-ray. He was very kind. He helped us out with the materials and talked to him. He was great. He's awesome. I'm friends with him on Facebook. It's not like I'm super intimate friends with him. Jimmy and I don't go golfing or something like that.
Right.
And anyway, nobody knew anything about Supercon because we're a little independent film. It wasn't until John Malkovich got announced in our cast. That's right. I have John Malkovich in my movie.
Cyrus the
Anyway.
Virus. I know he's watching. I know
Cyrus
John
the Virus,
Malkovich
exactly.
is a huge fan of the BSI Comics
Oh,
podcast.
massive. Well, he lives down here in New Orleans. Like, he loves New Orleans. He's got a place in France, a place here in New Orleans. He loves it. But it wasn't until Malkovich got announced that everybody's like, oh, this is, like, real. But then once that press release got out, and anybody who had read Jimmy Palmiotti's book, and I on purpose have not read the book, and it's nothing against Jimmy. He's an awesome creator. He's a wonderful artist. Like, I read his stuff, but I have not read his book on purpose just because of anything like this. I didn't want anything subconsciously to come out and go out. It's like we had our own characters. We created our own things. Our treatment goes back almost 3.5 years. The script is registered with the WGA just after that because we kind of punched it out. So all of our stuff dates back. And like what I tell people is like, okay, we have a similar concept in that there's a heist at a comic book convention, but that's where the similarities kind of stop. It's like how many cop shows are there on TV? Not all cop shows are the same. They didn't rip each other off. How many hospital dramas do you have?
How many Bruce Willis movies are exactly the same movie?
Yeah, it's that kind of like,
reason.
And it's that kind of thing where it's like, now that more people besides anybody who would come to this comic book shop know what San Diego Comic-Con is, and they're watching Marvel movies, it's kind of a natural progression. And plus, you've never seen a heist movie in kind of this comic book fun world that you get to play with and these kind of things. So we just thought it'd be fun. And it was. It's a blast. And we're having really positive experience with the actors and the script and the whole thing. So this is in no way a slam against Jimmy. It's in no way a slam against the book.
But it's not similar. It's
not similar. Just
it is a very loose concept. And I haven't read The Big Con Job. And technically I haven't seen the entire movie. I was only able to be there for like 3 hours. But they're not similar concepts. They just both happen to have heists at a comic book convention.
Yeah, it's like saying Miami Vice is like NYPD Blue because they're cop shows. They're not. They're not. It's completely different shows, completely different characters. They just happen to be similar in the type of genre that you're playing with. And we play in every single genre. We pull from everything because we pull from, all these different genres and kind of pay homage to them because that's what this world kind of creates. It's not just about Marvel or DC anymore. It's about the movies. It's about the TV. It's about classic TV and music. Like, it's everything. And that's kind of the stuff we pull from.
What's really interesting is that in many ways it seems like your career has been, obviously this is just the start of your career as a director, but it seems like your different facets of your career have been building this. You were involved in the movie, why is it escaping, Fanboys, which is also a geek movie.
Another movie, I play a sexual deviant featuring or written by Kevin Smith.
You are associated with Kevin Smith as a producer, I believe, right?
Very much. Well, I started working with Kevin on Jay and Bob, and it kind of went for about 10 or 11 years, something like that.
Right on. You did several documentaries for Marvel Comics that our fans may have seen because I believe at least one or two of them actually went on some of the Marvel movies like Captain America and Avengers.
Yeah, the first one we did was From Pulp to Pop, 75 Years of Marvel, which was essentially a hour-long special on the history of Marvel, which, if you can believe, you can put 42 minutes of Marvel history in there. We did the best that we could, and I think that we did a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. And then that one was really successful, and Marvel asked us to do another one, which was 75 Years of Captain America, which was a blast because I love Cap. And we got to talk to Joe Simon's family and get them involved in it, and Neil Kirby, who's Jack Kirby's son. We got to kind of finally give them to do that. At least that's what one of the things I want to do, and Marvel wanted to do too. Not to kind of exclude them. They weren't like, no, we can't. No, it's all this. It was fun though. It was fun covering Cap and how he kind of dances in between politics and how the characters changed with the times, and it's a pretty interesting doc. I like it. It's on iTunes.
And then after that, you also did a documentary of your own about a pretty legendary director, John Milius.
Yes. And
so you, on the two ends, you've studied Kevin Smith's directing style, and you've, in sort of third person, studied John Milius's acting style, which is let's say a pretty good lesson in filmmaking, indie, and
yeah, they're both writers who direct to kind of protect their property. I mean, John. If you don't know who John Milius is, he wrote Apocalypse Now. He wrote and directed Conan the Barbarian. He wrote and directed Red Dawn. He wrote
the first one, not
the first one, the one with Patrick Swayze, with the Sways. And he also did. He wrote the Indianapolis speech in Jaws. He came up with Lucas and Spielberg and Coppola and all those guys. He probably hates for me to describe him this way, but I kind of call him the Forrest Gump of Hollywood. You know, because he kind of knows everybody and has his hands in that classic 1970s movie time. So, but John's
got a really killer Elvis impression.
He does, very killer Elvis impression. He's also known for his politics and speaking his mind, and he doesn't keep his mouth shut about topics where everybody else would. So, he was a very interesting guy to do a documentary on. You know, and his stuff. I mean, Conan the Barbarian. Conan, what is best in life? It's like it's great. It's great, and John lives that stuff, which is awesome.
So, what do you feel? So you've been a documentary director.
Yeah.
And this is your first feature.
It is.
Was there a big learning curve, or do you feel like it sort of added up to it?
It kind of added up in weird ways. Documentaries are. They're completely different, but they're similar in other ways. Documentaries are almost kind of, as far as the technicalities, are harder because you really don't have a crew. Like on this movie, we've got a crew of about 100 every single day working to kind of help me get what's in my head into the camera. That's the cast, the crew, everything. In documentaries, it's really probably about 15 people maximum. I mean, when we did Milius, it was really myself and the co-director, Joey Figueroa. And we kind of did everything for the most part.
Right.
We had other guys come on later on, and that was a 5-year process of getting that documentary made. Just the actual physical production of it. With movies, you've got the script. You know where the beginning and the end is. You know where the movie, you know where the character arcs are. You know where the act breaks are. With documentaries, you kind of go in having an idea. It'll always change. No matter what it is, even with the Marvel docs, we'd go in and all of a sudden somebody would tell a story, and it's like, let's build on that. Let's take that piece and let's build on it, because that's really interesting. With the movie, you've kind of got it. I love directing scripted, especially my own stuff. It's great because it's like what's in my head, I get to get out and I get to play with it. And I love working with the actors because I started out as an actor. A bad one, I already know it, so put your fingers down. I already know it's bad.
Your performance in a certain Kevin Smith film.
Oh, yes.
Is one of the most memorable moments, I think, in my young adult life.
Mom's proud. Mom's very proud.
Just to mention it real quick, you're also the namesake for the movie Zak and Mary Make a Porno.
Yes, I am.
Sort of. They added a C.
They added a C, and the funny thing is, Kevin, he says, he signed my name or something. I said, it's with a K. He goes, what are you talking about? It's with a K. He said, no, it's CK. Why didn't you tell me that before the movie came out? I was like, I didn't know. It's no big deal. I wasn't offended.
He named a movie after
I'm flattered.
What were you going to, throw a fit?
I'm flattered.
There's not supposed to be a C there, Kev.
Seth Rogen's playing me, and then the other, the guy from Kenny vs. Spenny, he's Zak Knutson 2, which made me laugh. So I'm technically on the namesake of 2 characters. That was a boring story. I'm sorry.
No. I actually have a boring story that I would like to relay. I got to visit your set twice, which was an amazing opportunity because, I wasn't in the film. You're
there in spirit.
You easily could have had me thrown off at any moment.
No, you guys were invaluable.
But we showed up on Friday, and you were filming a really cool dance scene, for the rave at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Am I allowed to ruin?
Not even at the end of the movie. We dropped that sucker right at the end of the first break. Right at the end of the first.
So
break.
I didn't ruin anything. So we're watching the scene. You're doing your thing.
You didn't mention anything about the hentai room. Thank you. Just joking. Bad joke.
Well, I have footage of that, but it involves me, so
all the better.
Thanks for just revealing that to my mom. I appreciate it.
Hi, Mom.
She'll never see this. So you filmed the scene, and it was really cool. And then it was time to wrap production for the day because I think you were actually done at the Ilario Center at the time. And all of a sudden, we were talking to one of your stars, Ryan Quanten. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Ryan Quanten.
Any of you who are True Blood fans or fans of the show Summerland will immediately recognize him. But so we were talking to him, and all of a sudden, the crew starts breaking down the set. And all of a sudden, one of the walls come up, and I turned around, and it was like I was suddenly in that Jim Carrey movie, It's Gonna Escape Me. the Truman Show. Truman Show. All of a sudden, it was like we were in a world, and then a bigger world opened up, and I was like, oh wow, so this is what it's like to make a film. It's all sort of, containing reality in a way.
Surreal.
Again, it was a boring story, but it was really impressive to me at the time.
Because it's an awesome set, and Freddie and his department did an amazing job. Like, you'll be blown away. I guarantee. You're going to be like, oh, that's a comic convention I want to go to. That's how it should be done.
And I spent the entire time you were filming just dancing because you were playing Turn Down for What? And I can't not.
I'm terrible, man. I can't, I had a rave scene. What do people dance? Obviously, I'm not a big dancer. And so I hit up my sister, who's like 25. I'm like, I need some music. She's like, just play this. So she gave me a couple songs, and I gave them to the
one of them was one of the songs from Tron Legacy, a Daft Punk song. So I appreciate that as well. But let's see.
Which won't be in the movie. We just had him dance to it, because there's no way I'm going to be able to afford that.
Yeah. Daft Punk's probably cheap at this point. That movie didn't do a lot for them, unfortunately. I love that movie, but,
Olivia Wilde liked her in the movie.
Yeah.
My wife's now turning this off.
Yeah.
Click. Oh, okay, Jim.
I might have to turn it off in a second. You're going to bring up Olivia Wilde. Anyway.
Fair enough.
Let's see. Is there anything else that I need to ask you? You got any idea what you want to do next? Another feature?
I want to finish this one.
Okay.
I want to finish this one. I'm going back to LA to do the editing on it. We've got the rest of the cast in the movie. We've got John Malkovich. We've got Maggie Grace from Lost and Taken. She's the daughter that keeps getting taken. So we got Maggie in it.
Let me correct you, sir. The second one, she threw a grenade.
Oh, my bad. No, wait. Okay. So anyway, Maggie Grace, Ryan Quanten, John Malkovich. We've got Clancy Brown from the Highlander movies, who does have a sword fight in the movie. That's right.
I got to watch that.
That was kind of awesome. I had all the camera guys going, dude, you got the Kurgan with a sword. This is great. Thank you. Got him in the movie. Clancy Brown. Oh, we got Mike Epps. Mike Epps is in the movie, essentially playing a Mike Broder type character. And I know I'm missing somebody. Brooks Braslin, who's a buddy of ours. He's in the movie. He's great. And yeah, I think that's... shit. Russell Peters. Russell Peters, stand-up comedian Russell Peters. Huge.
One of the biggest comedians in the world.
Yeah, he's like the most money-making comedian. I mean, he's whatever, but he's doing our movie, and it's spectacular, and he's hilarious in the movie. So it's great.
But the real star is the metal.
Yeah, Dana Snyder's in the movie, too. So is Andy. I shoot my scene in the morning. You'll never recognize me. And, yeah. So it's good. And I don't know when the movie's coming out, but you guys will be the first to know.
I will be very excited to see it personally.
It'll be fun. It'll be make you laugh, make you cry, make you kiss your $12 goodbye.
So I guess that's about it. I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you guys for being a part of it.
Thank you so much for filming here in New Orleans.
Thank you for having us.
And
My
go out
pleasure.
and see Supercon. And hey, Milius, it's on Hulu right now?
It's on Hulu. Epix has it, and I think it's also on Amazon. And I think in a couple months it's going to be available to buy and rent on Apple. And I think Amazon as well.
So definitely go check that out. And you can see he has a very special cameo in a Kevin Smith movie that we won't mention. So you're going to want to go through those recent I guess it's not recent.
It's on YouTube. You can just watch the clip on YouTube. Let's be honest. You can just get right to the meat. Just take all the veggies away, clear your plate, get right to the meat.
Right to the
and meat. Literally, I'm talking meat, folks. Right here. You'll see it.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Bye bye. Supercon.